Welcome to Globefolio. In this section, I'm going to be showing you one strongest sector you should be buying your next stock. In short, this is the best sector in the world right now. The Dow is down by 0.87 as at the time I'm actually recording this video. Nasdaq is down by 1.56, and then S&P is down by 0.99. So the question is, should we buy the US stock market? What should we be looking at? Now, I want to talk about the global financial market. I want to talk about the global stock market and then drill down to the Nigerian market. The Nigerian market has been doing extremely well. And if this particular sector is top performing in the global stock market, then it's likely that it will keep outperforming other sectors in the Nigerian market. And I'm going to share a lot of analysis to back these recommendations, to back my pick. So if this is the first time you're watching this video, kindly hit the subscription button, turn on the notification bell so that whenever I drop a video, you always get notified. You always be notified of my new post. Like I told you, most of my videos are time bound. If you pick them at the exact time it was posted, it will be easy for you to take quick trade decision. But if you actually check them late, that might probably not be of good value to you. So that's why you need to turn on notification bell. It's important so that when I drop a video, you quickly get an alert and watch the video and see what I'm actually talking about on the next sector or next stocks that I'm going to be buying into. So here I'm looking at the strongest sector. Now there is a way to check the strongest sector. You don't have to use your intuition, you don't have to stress your head. Finviz had made it so easy that you can actually check the strongest sector in the financial market, then look for the best performing company in that sector. So I'm going to show you how Finviz will help us find the strongest sector in Nigerian market. Finviz is not a Nigerian company. Finviz is a US based company, but if you know what is happening in the global financial market, most likely you will see that that event will rub off on Nigerian stock market. So I use Finviz to do my analysis. The market is down right now. So the best thing you could do is to be able to allocate your money to the best sector. So if you're still looking for capital appreciation in this market, it makes sense to adopt what I call the sector rotation strategy. Sector rotation strategy is that investment strategy that helps you move your fund from low performing sector into top performing sector. Your ability to spot the next best sector that would attract attention makes you one of the profitable traders in the stock market. Will also give you an edge or put you at an advantage over others. So here you're going to watch me do my analysis on Finviz, and then we'll be picking the top sectors in the market. So right now, let's go to Finviz, and then we'll select group. So group helps you to see the performance of all the sectors we have. Now, in the market, we have the industrial, you can see here we have industrial, we have the basic materials, communication, consumer cyclical, consumer defensive, energy, financial, healthcare, industrials, real estate, technology, utilities, and all that. So, understanding this sector to a very large extent will help you know whether you should be buying into that sector or not. Now, Finvid had made it so easy that with just a bar chart, we're able to see the best performing sector. This is how I check for top performing sector on Finviz. Now, on Finviz, you see that we have each of these sectors lined up, and then Finviz will tell us the performance both on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, 3 months, half year, and 1 year and year to date. So what I do to check the top performing sector is that I start with the 3 months. I start with 3 months. Now, what's the top performing sector in the last 3 months? I want to pick the top four that is actually performing well. Now, top four sector that has been doing well in the last 3 months is energy, utilities, basic material, consumer, defensive. Energy stocks, utility stocks, basic material, consumer, defensive. Those are the top performing. The energy sector is up by 12.05% in the last 3 months. Utility is up by 4.15%. Basic material is up by 1.6. Consumer defensive is down by 0.61. So we do not want to buy into sectors that are down. If all the sectors are down, we would rather go cash. So we're looking at top performing. So right now, the top three are energy, utilities, basic material. You might also want to drill down to see half year, which is 6 months. Energy also remains the top performing in the last 6 months. Utility and basic material. You can see we have energy, utilities, and basic material. Those are the top three in the last 3 and 6 months. But we don't want to settle for 3 and 6 months because it's likely that if you pick the top performing in the last 3 and 6 months, what if they are winning out? What if they are losing their momentum? So we're going to be drilling down to two time frames. We'll be looking at the monthly time frame and also the weekly time frame. The monthly tells us that this sector is still attracting a lot of attention. And then the weekly will tell us whether that sector is winning off or still among the top performing. So in the last 1 month, energy is the only sector that has delivered positive return. Energy is up by 2.83 excuse me 2.83%, and then consumer defensive is down by 3%. Now you see that utilities, basic materials are down respectively. Utility is down by 6.97, basic material is down by 8.36. So from here we will see that energy is actually the leading sector right now, both in 3 months, 6 months, and 1 month. Now the next most important question to ask is the momentum in energy still strong? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Is the momentum? Because if you jump into energy sector, what if the momentum is going down? What if the momentum is losing its strength? That's why you need to drill down to the weekly charts. So the weekly performance will now tell us what's the top performer. You can see energy in the last 1 week is up by 6%. So the only sector that is actually outperforming other sectors in the last 1 week is energy. So what is our conclusion? Our conclusion now is the top performing sector, the strongest sector to be looking at, the strongest sector to buy your stock is what? Energy. So energy is top performing. Now, today energy is up by 0.6%. Now, I don't pay attention to today's performance because daily is noisy. So I pay attention to weekly, 1 month, and 3 months. So any sector that is among top three on a weekly, on monthly, and also on quarterly basis, which is 3 months, and is delivering positive return, that's the strongest sector you should be buying your stock. So from this analysis, you could see right now that energy is the number one top performing sector in the world. Now, this particular analysis looks at the US market, and whatever happens in the US market tends to reflect the global economy, tends to reflect the global stock market because US stock market ranks among the biggest in the world. So, if energy is top performing, then it tells you something that energy is actually attracting a lot of attention, and we understand why. Look at the price of oil. Oil is actually at all-time high of almost 113 US dollar per barrel. What is the reason? We know why. We know why oil price is surging higher. Disruption in supply. One of the major supplier of oil is actually being taken out of the market, and that's Russia. A lot of European countries right now are considering placing embargo on import of Russia oil and gas, and that alone is driving the price of oil to the upside. Initially, the price of oil was driven more by a surge in demand after COVID lockdown was lifted, and again we were now faced with Russia invasion of Ukraine, which actually attracted a lot of sanction. And right now you see how oil is selling for almost 113. Now, when you look at the price of oil at 113, it shouldn't be a surprise to you that most oil companies are going to be posting good numbers. So that alone is actually driving the results of some of the biggest oil stocks right now. Let's look at Shell. You can see from these results here on Guardian, Shell profit up as higher oil price offset Russia heat. And you can go down to read the report on this particular company. Profit after tax went up by 26% to 7.1 billion. That's compared to that's like 6.7 billion euro from a year earlier. Why the group took 3.9 charge on exit from Russia, you can see. So a lot of them are actually taking the charge from for Russia exit. So the idea here is just to show you how the higher oil prices are helping these guys to rake in record profit. Then look at ConocoPhillips too from this analysis. So let's go back to look. Let's look at the financials of this guy. Okay, so you see here, ConocoPhillips is the latest oil major to report multi-billion dollar first quarter profit. This was 5th of May. That's yesterday. You can see here is the latest oil major to report multi-billion dollar profit. So a lot of oil companies now are actually reporting multi-billion dollar profit. Look at BP, a UK-based oil firm. You see, BP profit more than doubles on exceptional oil trading. This was also 3rd of May. So you can see these are big oil firms reporting record profit. BP took a hit of more than 24 billion from ditching its business, so it's likely that they are going to be writing off the loss from Russia exit. And then you can see that the UK energy giant said Tuesday that its underlying profit soared to 6.2 billion from 2.6. That's almost 100% in the same period last year, boosted by exceptional oil and gas trading condition. Oil prices have shot up by nearly 40% since the start of 2022. So a 40% rally in oil price to above $100 per barrel is strong enough to drive most of these oil firms. So that explains the reason you see these guys reporting billions of dollars of profit, record profit in their first quarter. So if this is happening in the global financial market, it's also likely that there are some Nigerian stocks, Nigerian oil firm that would be posting these interesting results. So let's look at the NGS oil and gas to explain this. So now the NGS oil and gas is an index that tracks the performance of all the oil stocks in Nigerian stock market. While Nigerian stock market had continued to hit record high, it's important for you to pay attention to fundamentally sound stock. It's important for you not to buy companies that are just rallying higher without any reason. So as Nigerian stocks continue to surge higher, you are likely going to be making more profit, record profit, when you buy into companies that are being driven by fundamentals, when you now buy stocks in the strongest sector. So right now, we've been able to establish that the strongest sector in the global financial market is the oil sector. So if we now drill down to Nigerian stock market, the question is, which of the oil stocks should we be looking at? I've mentioned one of the oil stocks before, and I'm going to reiterate that, and that oil stock is Owando. So one of the oil stocks that I think we should be looking at is Owando. Why am I mentioning Owando? I do not want to pick a stock that is overbought. Now, when you are buying into a stock, because the sector is the strongest, it doesn't necessarily mean that all the companies in that sector are going to be posting the same. Some companies have huge upside potential more than the other. How do you know companies that have huge upside potential? First, these companies are still at the bottom of the market. These companies have not rallied higher like others. These companies are still trading at the bottom of the market, and there is a way to check for all these things. I've just dropped that stock in my community. I've dropped one stock in my community that I think is extremely undervalued, extremely cheap, and is yet to pick up. Meaning that these companies, if it picks up, it has an upside potential of more than 40 to 50% between now and end of this year. Owando is one of the oil stocks you should be buying, but it's not the major company. I've picked two companies you should be looking at. The first one is Owando. The second one I'm going to drop in my community. So if you're going to be buying oil stocks because it's strongest, don't jump into any oil stock, because some oil stocks are actually selling at the top of the market right now. So even if they're going to rally, it's not going to rally as high as this company that I'm talking about. There is nothing like buying at the bottom. These ones are just starting out. These ones are saying, oh, others have moved. Now we are about to move on our own. We are now going to rally higher. So those are the kind of companies you should be looking at. Stocks that are still selling at the bottom. Stocks that their upside potential is still high. Look at Owando right now. My upside target for Owando is around 10 naira. I've talked about this before. You can check my previous video on Owando. And if you compare that price level to what Owando is selling right now, that's huge upside for Owando stock. But Owando is not the only stock that is yet to pick up. There are also fundamentally sound stocks in that same sector that have dropped in my community. So that stock has huge upside potential. I am so sure that its next result, its next financials will be record profit, and that's likely going to drive a lot of attention in the market right now. So, if you want to buy the strongest stock in this particular sector that I just mentioned, kindly send an email to me. I'm going to add you to my community right now so you can take advantage of this stock. You can see right now in the global financial market, a lot of oil and gas stocks are posting record profits. Record profit. Now, I'm so sure that most oil companies in the Nigerian market will also post record profit. But the question is, which of them has more upside potential? That is what you should be looking at. There's a difference between buying a stock that just posted record profit, but the price is already at the peak. The price is already reflecting its fair value. It's completely different from buying another company that is also going to post record profit, but the price is yet to pick up. In short, the price is picking up gradually, meaning that if the price is to move the same way as others, it has the potential of delivering close to 40-50% return in the market. So don't just jump into any company because the feel Nigerian stock market is going up. Make sure you buy into fundamentally sound stock that are driven by the economic event. Now I have just showed you the strongest sector in the global financial market. Now it makes sense for you to apply that sector right here in Nigeria, which is oil and gas sector. But now join our community so you can take advantage of the analysis that I'm going to drop in this particular stock. Take advantage of the low price that this company is offering right now because I see this company rallying higher by 30, 40, 50% in the next 3 to 4 months by the time they post record profit on their financials. So this is exactly what you should be doing right now. First one is Owando, the second one is in our community. Why you need to join our community is that we are sharing a lot in our community. We are exchanging ideas. We are discussing how events unfold and how they actually affect the Nigerian market. And when there's need for us to quickly sell, when there is a breaking news that will likely drive the market to the south, we always there to share with one another. That's why trading is boring when you do it alone, but trading is fun. Trading is profitable when you actually do it together with a group of like-minded individuals. Kindly hit the subscription button if the video makes sense to you. Turn on notification bell so that you will get ideas on the next stock that I am buying right now.